I got nines in GCSE science, and these were some of the easiest nines of my life. I struggled for months unsure of how to improve, and it wasn't until I started doing these key steps that I actually managed to get nines with ease. So I've made it into a 3-day blueprint for you to follow step by step and actually get nines in GCSE science. This is a sample of what I'm going to tell you. You probably can't see it, but I'll explain it for you. It is the Easter break right now, so I'm assuming that you should have 3 days completely free to follow along and get nines in GCSE science. There's nothing else you should really be doing anyways, since you have your GCSEs coming up. And first of all, what you need to know before I tell you this is that it will be difficult. You are going to do 2 years of content for your GCSE sciences. You're going to cover this in 3 days. I'm going to tell you how, but it will be hard. So you will just have to push through with it, as I did. I did this exactly as well, and I've made it into a 3-day blueprint, which is going to be easier for you to follow than what I did. I went through a whole process. I didn't get to it straight away, but basically this is everything you need to know, everything you need to do step by step for those nines. So we have 3 days. We're going to separate it into biology, chemistry, physics, and these. So essentially we're going to do each science in 1 day. We're going to cover each science entirely, 2 years of content in 1 day. And essentially, if you have any given paper, you need 80% to get nines, and that is the assumption that we're going to follow through this. So first off, you're going to start your first day doing biology, chemistry, or physics, either one you pick. But hours, you're going to spend 4 hours roughly doing this. 2 hours per paper. Paper 1, you're going to spend 2 hours. Paper 2, you're going to spend another 2 hours. And what this is you are going to first try and understand and cover all the content entirely. And that can be through using Seneca, online videos. You know the videos out there where you just have to search biology paper 1 full guide or something, and that video comes up which goes through everything. You can just follow that. So what you're going to do is you're not just going to watch the video or just go through every Seneca, which will take time, but it is worth it with what I'm about to share with you. So, and also school resources, if you have anything going, like a full booklet of just going through the whole paper, that is so much easier. Hopefully, so you have something like that. If you don't, you can use the videos or Seneca. What you're going to do is, you're not just going to, first you're going to process everything. First you're going to understand what's going on, the process which is taking place in everything that you're learning. Whatever you're trying to learn in that part of the paper. You're going to first understand it, and secondly, you're going to immediately make a flashcard, a digital online flashcard, which you can use later, use it again, or which is a condensed version of what you need to know, a simplified version which you can understand. This is going to be useful because not only will you be covering the content, you'll be understanding it fully. I want also something which I thought to be a given, but what I'm going to tell you is that when you go through some content, you need to understand it fully before making it a flashcard. You need to understand it fully first and then make it a flashcard. And paper 1 and 2 is a lot of content, but it's not actually that much in the grand scheme of things. You can, in reality, just memorize it all quite quickly, get through it all quite quickly if you've have any experience, it will be quicker. If you don't have any, I'm thinking max 2 hours per paper. So in this 2 hours, you're gonna spend time understanding everything which is going on, and secondly, you're gonna make it into a flashcard form, a digital one. I'm gonna link the website which I used below to make digital online flashcards, and you can use that. It's called Anki app, to make your own flashcards. You type out everything, and you spend 2 hours on paper 1, 2 hours on paper 2, depending on whichever science you've chosen for that day, and that is first part done. That's half of what you have to do to get 9s in sciences. It is simply understanding the content and getting it down in a way which you can remember. So that should take 4 to 5 hours, I'm thinking, in a day. As I said before, you should be completely free on this day. It's Easter break. You should have some of these days at least. Hopefully, you spend 4 to 5 hours on this day, on this task. You go do whatever you want. You have a break or something, and then you come back and you do the second thing. The second thing I'm going to share with you after understanding is past papers. Past papers are essential here because they will be testing your knowledge, everything that you've understood. You may think you've understood everything fully, but this will show you that you're wrong. I don't even have to show it. I know that the past papers that you're going to do are going to test you and show that you're wrong, that you still have something more to improve, something more to understand. And only by doing past papers can you gain this knowledge, because every resource in the world will give you information, but past papers give you more information about how to answer the question in an actual paper and get the marks. As I said before, 80% we're going to assume is a 9. In my previous experiences last year, I think it was the paper 2 marks for GCSE sciences, the chemistry paper, I remember, was 77 for a 9, and I got 76, which was pretty annoying. So 77 was a 9. That is the worst case scenario for any GCSE science paper, 77%. So what you need to do, what I think you should do, is assume that you just round up to 80%, being the worst thing you can need for a 9 in a GCSE science paper. So 80% is what you need for this paper you're going to sit. You're going to sit 2 papers, paper 1 and 2, and this is going to test your knowledge, as I mentioned, test your application, and hopefully if you've understood everything, you get 80%. You've gotten grade 9 in GCSE science, bro. That's all you need. You need to do this on day 1 bio, day 2 chem, day 3 physics, something like that, whichever order you want. And you just need to do these 2 sections of work again and again and again for the 3 days, and that is how you will cover and get, hopefully, all 9s in your GCSE sciences. And if this doesn't work for you, it's fine, because this has given you, first of all, flashcards to use later. You can do the flashcards again and again, and secondly, you've learned that doing past papers will improve your grade, so you can do past papers again and again after this. So this is exactly what I did to get a 9, compressed into 3 days, something which you can actionably follow along, and this should take maximum 10 hours. But because we have chosen a day where you're free, then you can actually get this done. After following this, you will feel amazing. You have spent just 3 days and gotten down all the sciences for your GCSEs, secured the 9. You will feel so much better after doing this. A few things you need to know in general for GCSE sciences, if there's any advice I could give you, and that is, first of all, remember not just facts, but try and link it to a process, any sort of process. For example, reverse osmosis from chemistry. You remember everything as part of a process, or for example, monoclonal antibodies or the generator effect in physics. Anything you learn, you try and apply it to a process and see it in action. That is how you memorize every small detail, every small fact, because in your mind you're not just linking it to something important. You're linking it to something which you are gonna require, which you're gonna memorize already. Because if you know there's gonna be a 6 marker to memorize a whole process, and you link a bunch of small facts to that 6 marker, you will memorize more. And another sort of disclaimer I have for this 3-day guide, it is to use flow state deep work. And that means when you do this, you are completely focused. You have no distractions. Every second you're going to spend on doing these things which I mentioned. I will put down the actual blueprint down below in a link below, and this should make it easier if this video was hard to follow, just so you can refer to it after. Another thing I can tell you to do to make this easier is to use Google Calendar. I used it a lot for my GCSEs. It got me 9s, and just assigning blocks of work to days before having that day is going to be helpful, because you know exactly what you're going to do in a period of time, and that is going to make it so much easier. So in any given 3 days you have free, which you know you're free in the Easter break coming forward, because I know we're still in the Easter break, is to assign 4 to 5 hours for that understanding part, the flashcards, the understanding and flashcards part, and another 4 to 5 hours for past papers. You're gonna sit these past papers in timed conditions, and you're gonna mark it after. You're not gonna use any other resources when you're doing it, because you want to test yourself fully. You want to be as strict as yourself right now, so that you are ready for how strict the GCSE timed papers will be. This is how I improved. This is everything I did to improve in GCSE science. This is everything I did. And after doing this, I realized how easy it was. And you can follow this. I understand that it's difficult to follow this, but it will be beneficial in the long run. I will be putting that into that link below. Link for the flashcards below, and also thank you for watching, and this is going to help you, trust me. I spent months trying to figure this out. This is what helped me the most. This is what can help you the most. It's only 3 days. Please just follow this entirely, and you will get 9s in GCSE sciences.